Well, I'm reading in Deuteronomy, and Moses is going over and over, very repetitive, talking about the going up to Mount Sinai and getting the tablets for the Ten Commandments, and he goes, he's going over like 7 times the whole process of this thing throughout Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. But this time he's telling you he's in his subconscious mind. It's very repetitive, okay? Until this last chapter 12, okay? And now he's forward pacing, or he's talking about he's not going to get to go into the promised land, but he's talking about the promised land to the Jews that are the new generation that's going to go in with Joshua. And he's talking about how it's a different land, it's got mountains, and so this tells you, because he ain't never been there, all right? He's in his imagination, he's in, he's talking about something he's never seen with his eyes, okay? So that tells you right then, all right, that he is out of his subconscious mind, right? Well, then it got me thinking about the next chapter, which is going to be Joshua. And I've read it before, and I dig Joshua, okay? Why do I like Joshua so much? Well, Joshua got his dopamine with adrenaline, right? When he fought the Amorites, and Moses was praying, and Aaron was holding up his arms, and all he had to do was fight, and God was giving him the victory. So I'm thinking about this heart energy. I'm learning, about from Joe Dispenza and Greg Brand and Bruce Lipton, and I'm like, okay, the heart emotions is love, joy, and gratitude. But I don't have a lot of that in my life to fall back on. But I felt that heart energy. I felt that rise in my heart in my experience in the boxing ring and jump, free fall skydiving, combat. I felt that, but they weren't attached to love, joy, and gratitude. Okay, but it got me thinking that Joshua's had those same experiences, and Joshua, it was that connection with God, all right? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. All those times, I remember, getting up off the canvas after Tony Suggs dropped me, the first punch he hit me with. So Lord help me. And then it was on. I mean, that fight was like intense after that, okay? Right as I'm getting off the boat and the bullets are flying in Panama, I'm like, Lord help me. And bam! Everything's like supernova, okay? That feeling is like nitrous oxide in a funny car, okay? I've had, so I'm thinking, oh wow, okay, so it's not so much the engine, okay, or all the effort in the gym and the training, whether it was the boxing gym or lifting weights and conditioning, right? That that makes you perform, right? But when you flip that switch and you add that juice, that extra power, all right, then from nitrous oxide for a funny car, but for the Holy Spirit in me in those situations where I called on Him, right? That's where the juice is, right? Flipping that switch. That's where I got distracted with the situation, the fight, okay, the fight or the excitement, okay. Well, I could turn that switch on in my praise and worship. There's somebody called it the Flux capacitor, right, from Back to the Future. There's actually there's a graphic. It shows the flux capacitor from Back to the Future and overlaid that is the crucifixion of Christ on the cross, and say, you know, 1.2 gigawatts, you know, flip the switch, right? And that's when you understand. Now I understand that by going to God, asking for the Holy Spirit, you know, sincerely wanting that God connection or whatever it is in my life, that's what caused all the excitement, all the things that I get juiced about that I've had in my whole life. That was flipping the switch for it. All right, Joshua knew that. Joshua had that coming, and Joshua got excited about his connection with God. All right, and that's why Joshua is probably my favorite.